Missy called to order.
All right. Brewski and O'Brien are excused. Mr. Bergdorf?
Here.
Cleary?
Here.
Mr. Fine is on his way. Mr. Tiny's excused. Peter?
Here.
Reinhardt?
Here.
And Smith?
Here.
5 present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Can I get a motion on the minutes of last meeting?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously.
Item 2 is authorizing a lease modification and renewal agreement with Trustco Bank regarding space at the Albany County Office Building.
Good evening. This is the fourth option of the Trustco Bank for the lease at 112 State Street. They also wanted to put in another 4 5-year terms in their new lease that would begin after March 31 of 2032 at the same rate that they are right now. And then they would renegotiate the rate on the second or the third 5-year term on this lease.
Anybody have any questions? No. How long are we gonna have a flat rate there?
The flat rate will stay up until 2032, and 10 years after that, and then it'll jump after, then it'll be new negotiations after the third 5 years, the third and fourth 5 year.
We're
Do we
okay.
feel that's prudent? Giving them that rate for how many years? 10?
Well, they've been here, so this will be their fourth 10-year term, so they've been here just about 40 years. This will be actually over 30 years. It has gone up so at the rate that's normal, over the years. Now there's so much commercial real estate. The rate is a fair rate for them.
But, I mean, I guess to Bill's point, like you're talking about, I've never heard of anyone getting a flat rate from maybe 10 years ago for another 10 years in any real estate market.
Yeah.
I mean, a 20-year, no interest increase, no, like, am I missing something in this?
I'd have to agree though, but the commercial real estate is not, everything you read is not that good.
But I've never heard
Yeah,
of someone
but for
get,
20 years?
and that's based on, when's the last time it went up?
I think the last time it was like, I don't have the current lease, that was the thing we couldn't find with the current lease. So what I have in 2011, they were paying $18.70. Now they're at 22, I forget what the rate is, 22, it's like 22.70 right now.
How many square feet is
They're paying
it?
per square footage now.
So what went up?
Yeah, but I mean, like, 2270 for how much square footage?
Well, that was another thing. They were actually paying on 3,539 square feet for all these years. There was another assessment done on really what their square footage was, and it was really only have 2,825 square feet.
That's why we saw the cross out on the back of the
Yeah, that's
chair.
why you saw the cross out on there, because when it was initially done, Bank of America had this first. They gave the lease for Bank of New York, I'm sorry, and they had space on the basement floor where their safety deposit box were, and they also had space on the second floor, small space on the second floor. It was never renegotiated over the years from that 35, 39 to the 28, 25. So actually, they've been overpaying for all these years.
Do they also, excuse me, Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Do they also pay, does the lease require them to pay any commons charges for the building?
There is a provision in the lease where they can pay a certain portion of heat and electric and also of taxes. Because we're taxed, the building is taxed on a rate that we have rental space on. So the majority of the only rental space we really have is we have a couple of offices and Trustco. You have to take that percentage that's in the building and prorate it to theirs. So, I mean, we're at 213,000 square feet, I think, in this building. I think they're at 28, 25, so your percentage would be that.
1.5%, something like that.
Yeah, it's minimal. Also, the same thing with the heating and cooling.
that's not fixed, that will float from year to
That
year?
floats from year to year, if we're assessed on, you know, it's been a while since we've actually gone back for assessment on the building as far as, you know, the tenants that left, that we were being taxed on, so at one point, we're gonna have to go back to the town, or the city, get a reassessment on the building, as far as what we pay in taxes.
So it's gonna stay at 2250 for the next 10 years?
Yeah, 2250 or 2270, yes.
Why don't we keep it that for 5 years and then,
Well, I would only
Yeah.
say like, you know, I just look at like, for example, Lark Street, right, like, same area. I mean, a basic restaurant lease for about the same size space is about double that. So I'm just a little, just to keep it like completely on the level seems a little weird to me, but
Well, I don't believe anybody in town, in the city of Albany is paying $45 a square foot.
no, I said 4,500 per month, not $45 a square foot.
Oh, 4,500 per square foot. They're paying over 5,000, close to $6,000 a month. That's 2270. Yeah, a 10-year lease, that's,
Oh, it's 2270 a square foot, not 20.
right, it's
2,000.
2270 a square foot.
But it's been at 2270 for the last 2 years.
Since the, yeah, I think,
Since
since I
2011.
believe, it might have been the last 10-year contract that they did, maybe from 2012 to 2022. I believe, I don't have
Okay.
the other lease to tell me exactly what it was.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask our Commissioner of Finance a question? Dave, do we have accounts with Trustco?
Our banking service contract is with M&T.
Do we have any financial relationship with Trustco?
Not that I'm aware of.
So we have nothing to compare it with, whether or not their fees have risen against us or anything that, okay, I'm just curious.
But I mean, they are, you know, here again, they are a long-term customer for 40 years. They're doing 40 years, another 60-year customer, they would be here. Trying to find somebody to come into the city of Albany for the next 20 years or 25 years to lease spaces, it's gonna be hard to do.
I would prefer
make
that
a
we have a
motion.
5-year deal and then we open it up for a new consideration. I don't think the markets for commercial space are forever. They change.
Oh, of course they changed, I mean, but they're, like I said, they're, you know, coming out of COVID and the way we are, there's a lot of commercial space that's always gonna be available because you changed your workforce, the way your workforce is working now. A lot of places are still working from home, they're not gonna go back into commercial space because they find it's easier to do that. Why should they go through the expense?
I think it's reasonable to give them this flat rate for 5 years. Same one they've had for what, 2? Is that right?
Well, you can't negotiate, I don't believe you can negotiate the first term. You can only really go back and negotiate the next 4 or 5 year terms because that's, the rate was already done in the original contract agreement with them. They had a 4 10-year term agreement. So this is the 4th one. So in that agreement, I don't know, I can't say for sure, you probably would be breaking that agreement of the 4th year term.
Well, when does
What's
that
it
expire?
Right.
This expires in 2032.
No,
No.
the fourth 10-year term, when does that expire?
I just said.
2032.
So
This
why are we extending, if it does, if
It was a
they,
request by Trustco Bank's attorneys and Trustco Bank that they wanted to put another 4 or 5 year renewal in their lease.
So they want, so they have a 10, they still have 10 years on their contract?
11 years,
11 years.
or 10 years,
10 years.
10 years.
Well, actually, it's less than that, it's like 9 years because it was supposed to be done in 22. Their contract ended in 22 and we've been playing around with this.
David, it sounds like it's set for the next 10 years no matter what.
I believe.
And then
so.
we're gonna negotiate after that 10 years.
No, they want us to lock in the price now
Now.
for the next like 40 years.
No, just
no.
one 10-year thing,
The
then
10-year thing.
renegotiate.
And then there's 2 5s, and then renegotiate after the
Dave, you gotta give us a piece of paper on this, because I'm not understanding it. First, you said we're at 2250 now,
Yeah, right,
and that
we're at
doesn't
20
expire until
It doesn't expire.
2032.
Their lease that they signed 40 years ago, or 30 years ago, gave them 4 10-year terms, I believe. This is their 4th option on that original contract. That's good till 2032, okay? They requested 4 5-year extensions on the contract.
Okay, so how many years, as of today,
Right.
how many years have they been paying Albany County? Is it 30 or
years.
40? 31.
31 years,
So the next 9 years is locked in at 2250.
correct.
And they want us 9 years before the lease expires.
Just do 4 more 5 years.
4 more 5 years.
At the exact same rate.
Just the first 2 5 years, I did the same thing.
So you're talking about 19 years in the future, they want us to lock in the rate.
Correct.
Who has been negotiating this? Is it law or is it DGS?
It hasn't been DGA, I believe it was law, I think it was law that
Have
was
we
negotiating this.
ever negotiated, like, I've never heard of a landlord being like, yeah, you can stay for 40 years, same price.
We're talking 19 years at the current price, 9 years of the existing agreement, and then 10 more at the same price?
That's correct.
Average inflation
Why?
of 2%.
Why would you ever want to do that?
Like, what,
Why don't we table this and we'll ask Law to come in next time and talk about it?
I think that's probably.
And maybe get some
Yeah.
comparisons. If it's a good rate, then it's, you know.
Well,
But
I
it
don't-
sounds like you only want to do 10 years.
well, we're
Well,
already.
I'm not even sure I want to do 10 years.
Well, you don't have a choice.
Well, we have, no, 9 years, we don't have a choice,
No,
that's
you don't.
existing. But I don't understand why with 9 years left, we would do a 20-year deal on top of that.
20-year deal with an option for another
Well, it's
10 on top of that.
To be
Well,
negotiated.
no, it's, you already have the 10-year deal. The 10-year deal is already done through the old contract. Then you got 4 5s. The next 2 5s after that one would be at the same rate. Then there's a renegotiation that will go on for the second and third 5-year terms.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to make a motion that we table it.
Table this and
And ask Law to come in.
Second. I'd also like to hear from someone in the real estate market who's going to tell me that 10 years from now, 2250 is going to be a reasonable rate of return, and you can prognosticate that today.
And
How about this, can we ask Law just to see if they could negotiate just the 10 years?
I mean, we already have the 9 years, so I guess to Paul's point, I don't understand why we're trying to do more on top of the 9 years when they're already locked in for 9 years, which seems like a pretty good deal to me, being locked in for 9 years.
We don't have to do anything, and we're locked in for 9 years.
Right.
Correct. All right, so we have a motion and a second, all in favor of tabling it? Aye. Unanimous. We can get Law in here next time, that would be great.
Mr.
Thank you,
Riley-
David.
Thank you.
Mr. Riley, will you convey that?
I will submit it to the county attorney.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
number 3.
Item 3 is authorizing lease agreement with Trojan Energy Systems, Inc. regarding suite number 24 at the MVP Arena. Mr. Belbert's here this evening.
Good evening. Trojan Energy Systems would be in their second term on they went 3 years, this would be another renewal. They've been a good tenant, all of their payments are current, and this is like very much the same as all the other suite leases that come up for renewal.
Anybody have any questions?
This is not for 20 years.
I'd make a motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous, thank you.
Item 4 has been withdrawn. Item 5 is authorizing the submission of a grant application to the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee regarding a traffic safety instructor. Commissioner Raimondo is here this evening.
Yes, this is a grant that DPW applies for each year. Each year, we're given approximately $85,000, and the proceeds cover 80% of our traffic safety instructor's salary, along with conference attendance, brochures, and bicycle safety equipment.
Anyone have any questions?
I'd make a motion to move this.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous.
Item 6 is authorizing an agreement with Gorman Brothers, Inc. regarding cold-in-place recycling projects for county roads located in the towns of Westerlo and Knox.
Yes, this is our yearly cold-in-place recycling project. We're going to be recycling about 8.66 miles of roadway. The roads are County 411 and 252. Once the roadway pavement is recycled, we will be going over them with 2 inches of asphalt as part of our hauling and placing contract. And Gorman is on state contract, and we've been using them for years, and they do a really good job.
Anybody have any questions?
So
Motion
moved.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimous.
Item 7 is authorizing an agreement with Callahan Industries, Inc. for hauling and placing of asphalt concrete on various roads in Albany County.
So, this is our yearly hauling and placing contract. Callahan was the low bidder. We are going to be paving 25 miles of our county roadways. Right now, we have 2.5 million in our line, which means we can't do the entire project immediately. So we're asking for, awarding 2.5 million worth of the work now. And then once we get our CHIPS award, we're going to amend our budget and then proceed with the rest of the contract.
Bill?
Lisa, I know you and I talked about this earlier, but I just wanted to ask, assuming we get the CHIPS agreement, Callahan is gonna do the work at this price. If for whatever reason we didn't get that and we had to truncate the work that they did, are they, like, is that gonna create any problems for us in terms of them completing the work, that first 2.5 million, I guess it is?
No, because we have the 2.5 million already in our line, so we pulled out certain roads, we left in certain roads that total the 2.5 million. Now, if for some reason, the budget isn't passed and we don't get our CHIPS money, we would not be able to do the full amount of our contract this year. And Callahan wouldn't have to hold their price for us.
For that additional work?
Right,
But for that first tranche of it, they would complete that regardless?
yes, yep.
So you're basically, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, you're basically breaking this up into part 1 and part 2.
Correct. So typically, we would have our CHIPS. Well, 2 things came into play. First thing is the high cost of everything, price escalation. When I do my budget next year, I'll put in a larger amount in that line, so we're starting out with a larger amount, and I will hopefully run into this for next year. Typically, we start out with 3.5 million, we get our prices, they come in at under 3.5 million, and we're good to go. This year, prices escalated, and also, we haven't gotten our CHIPS award yet because the budget hasn't passed. So those are the 2 things at play here.
If there's no other questions, Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item 8 is authorizing the submission of a grant application to the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee regarding the Child Passenger Safety Grant.
Yep, so this is a grant that we apply for each year, and we typically receive around $39,000. And most of this money goes toward purchasing car seats and tent rental for car seat safety awareness activities.
Chairman? Lisa, so we give people car seats, or are these demonstrator car seats, or?
We give people car seats, low income, and.
Okay.
Yep, so, Bill Van Alstine travels throughout the county, and goes to like the Alpha Pregnancy Center, could go to, like, there's so many different places that he goes to, and people are lined up for car seats and fittings.
Could we have a list of those locations from years past?
Yep,
Because I'd like to know if geographically,
yep,
you know, there was something in my district, I would, or not in my district, but in my town, I
yep,
would certainly like to promote it.
sure, yes, and we do have, yeah, go ahead.
Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And to Paul's point, like, with some of these things, I always think potentially teaming up with, or looking to team up with, like, OBGYN practices at like Albany Med or St. Peter's, where people have to go anyway, is sometimes a good way to do it.
We're already doing it.
Perfect.
Yep, we already go to both places, predominantly Albany Med. And Albany Med does have a large supply of car seats, and there's ones for children with disabilities and preemies,
let us know when that's gonna be, I'd love to promote it, because
Yeah.
that's in my district, but.
Oh, sure. We just recently had an event. It was over by the old Northway Mall, Bye Bye Baby. There was a giant event, and I guess he said, I believe he checked 62 car seats. He and some of his techs. And of the 62 car seats, only 2 were installed correctly. And so he'll teach them how to install. If, he'll replace, I have all the statistics, like oftentimes he'll find one that's either outdated or damaged, and he gives out replacements.
Colony PD does the same thing. They literally do it, they have car seat days, and they will also do it on demand. If you call the Colony PD and ask for the Traffic Safety Department, they'll bring in one of their officers
Yep,
to literally have an appointment with you. So I don't know if you can
we do that. We
you,
do that, yeah, too.
but do you also work with a local police department and let them know that there's a sort, because I don't think the Colony PD are giving out free,
Yeah, Bill
Car
actually
seats.
trains probably most of the people that are in the Colony PD that get trained by him. He's like truly like state known and even country known for being the expert on car seat safety. I'll share with you his latest quarterly report
okay.
of all the things he does. He does so much outreach for the county and training for pretty much anybody that knows how to install and was trained by him.
No, I think that's great. We'll love the information, appreciate you talking to us about it, so I'd make a motion to move this.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
motion to adjourn,
Yes, sir.
Pat, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye. See you guys in like an hour and 40.